Hello, and welcome back to the studio. I'm Dr. Wiggo, and today we're going to talk about outlets, electrical outlets. Because one of the most annoying things that can happen to you is to have an outlet not working, and then you go to your breaker box and none of the breakers are tripped, so what's the problem? I made a video about this about 4 years ago, but it was very long and rambling, and I'm just going to get to the point this time. For regular viewers, I'll still tell a story, but I'm going to tell the story at the end after I've gotten through all the stuff about how to fix outlets. Because if you hear about an outlet out, you just want to know what's going on, so here's the story. If the outlet in question is in a bathroom, a garage, a kitchen, a laundry area, or outside, then it's probably a GFI problem. What is GFI? Ground fault interrupter, or ground fault circuit interrupter, GFCI. Electricians always call it GFI, but it's technically GFCI. These are special outlets that trip if they sense a 4 to 6 milliamp difference between the current in the hot and the neutral wires. So like if something gets wet, which is why they're in bathrooms and kitchens and laundry areas and outdoors, etc. But if you're in one of those rooms, you probably already thought of this. And you went looking for the GFI outlet to reset it because it has a test and a reset button, and when it trips, you just have to push the red button back in, or the black button, it's usually the red button, and then it comes back. But here's the rub. GFI outlets are more expensive than regular outlets, so cheap people will only put one GFI outlet and then daisy chain all the other ones that are supposed to be GFI outlets onto that one. And here's where the fun starts. For example, I had an outlet go out in my bathroom, and there's no GFI outlet in that bathroom. So what do? So I go looking. Well, there's a GFI outlet in the front bathroom. That wasn't it. There's a GFI outlet in the bathroom off the laundry room. That wasn't it. There's a GFI outlet in the upstairs bathroom just down the hall from here, over there. That was the one. So this GFI outlet tripped upstairs in a bathroom that I hardly ever even go into, but that turned out to be the one that was controlling the outlet in my bathroom. Wait, it gets better. Also daisy chained into my outlet up here on the second floor are my outside outlets in the back and my laundry room outlets. What? For more fun, the downstairs GFI outlet controls the outlets in that bathroom and my front outdoor outlets and my garage outlets. So I have 3 GFI outlets that are controlling dozens of outlets in other rooms all over the house. You can see why it took me a long time to track down this problem. So you got an outlet not working. First thing to do is go to every outlet in your bathrooms, garages, kitchens, laundry areas, outdoors, anywhere, and look for that little GFI thing and see if it's popped out and push it back in, and your problem may be solved. But it may turn out that's not the problem. Because as I mentioned, electricians tend to daisy chain outlets off of other outlets, even GFI outlets, which they really shouldn't. So if you found all your GFI outlets and they're all pushed in, and so that's not the problem, and your outlet's still not working, you may have the second kind of problem. So you may have a bunch of daisy chained outlets. I have one chain downstairs that's 12 outlets. That was the subject of my last video on this topic. And there was a bad outlet along that chain, and it had broken a wire, and that one was then not sending electricity on down to the rest of the outlets on the chain. How do you track those down? Well, first, you want to get one of these. You want to get a little electrical outlet tester. They're not expensive. You can buy them at any hardware store on Amazon. I'll link some down below. They cost almost nothing. But they have lights, and then there's a little legend on it. If none of the lights are on, there's no power to the outlet, so you found one of the bad outlets, but that's not what you're looking for. On this one, if the middle light is on, then it's an open ground. The far right one's on, it's an open neutral. If this red light comes on with this yellow light, you've got the hot and the ground reversed. And if the middle one comes on with the red one, you've got the hot and the neutral wire reversed. If it's correct, the 2 amber lights will come on. Your mileage may vary. Different outlet testers use different color lights, but they all have a little chart like this that tells you what's going on. The main thing you use these for is to figure out if the outlet's working. So if it's working and the lights come on, then you can go to the next one until you find the one that's not working. And then you generally have to replace the bad outlet to get everything going again. My older video from 4 years ago, I will link below with the timestamp to where you gotta go to show you how to put these outlets in and how to check the breakers. When all your outlets are working fine, that's a good time to go figure out which outlets are on which breakers and label your breakers. That was a problem I had in this house. None of the breakers were labeled, so I didn't know what went where, and it took me a long time to track all that down. But again, probably 90% of the time it's going to be a GFI issue, so you just run around to every bathroom, garage, kitchen, laundry room, outdoor outlet, and look to see if they're GFI outlets and press the buttons, even if they're not in the rooms or even near the rooms where you're having the problem, because like I said, in my house, they're all wired in up here when they come from all over the house. Run check them all, and you may fix your problem. If not, you've got the other kind of problem, which I cover in the other video, again, which I will link below with a timestamp to get to the good part. And that's kind of all you need to know. If you just came here to find out about outlets, then you can move along. But for longtime subscribers, I got a story. So the story is I was having work done on my swimming pool. So I woke up one morning and I went into my bathroom and my Toto toilet was not working. It had no power. And I thought, well, this is going to take me a while to track down. So I got up and went to get my morning drink, get a little ice, and my ice maker in my laundry room at the other end of the house also had no power. This is odd, I thought. The guys working on the pool had plugged something in outside on my back patio outlets, power tools they were using in the pool, which apparently tripped the GFI outlet. As I come to find out after having everyone from the pool company here going through my house trying to figure out what's going on, we finally figured out it was this outlet down the hall here in this bathroom that was tripped. And if we flip that, then the toilet and the outside outlet and the outlet in my laundry room for my ice maker all came back on. It was a mess. But then my garage outlets were also out and my front outlets, and it turns out that was the GFI outlet in the downstairs bathroom underneath that bathroom, which was wired to the front of the electricians who wired this house were in a hell of a hurry. Because in my other video, I pointed out that I have like 12 to 15 outlets on one chain off of one breaker. Terrible work. The ironic part of the story is I went and Googled outlet not working, circuit breaker not tripped, and what I got as my #1 recommendation was my video. That didn't do me any good. I made that video. And that video didn't talk about GFI, which is why I made this video. So now people come watch this video will know to check the GFI outlets first and then do all the crap I talked about in that video that I'll link down below with a timestamp. By the way, that video still gets a lot of views and they shouldn't be watching it. They should watch this one. So I'm hoping I can get them convert over. But anyway, that's why I ended up making this video. Check every outlet in your house for a GFI switch and make sure they're all pushed in and working. And you'll be good to go 90+% of the time. And then the very few other times when you have a problem like I did, which was a wire that like melted and pulled away, so it broke the chain to the rest of the outlets. But it was intermittent, so sometimes it would connect and sometimes it wouldn't. Intermittent problems are the hardest ones to track. You can go watch that video, but I don't recommend you do so. Anyway, that's it for today. Thanks for stopping by. See you next time. Bye-bye. And now I got to go come up with something more interesting for next week. Thanks for staying to the end. Bye-bye.